What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is episode seven. Yeah, episode seven. Uh, I just wanted to start off by saying thank you for all the support I found on Facebook and people looking up and listening to the podcast and watching the reels. Thank you guys for the support. We love to see it. We love to see dads coming together and having discussions. Um, there was a lot of topics that everyone wants me to talk about. Um, and a lot of it has to do with the legal processes of things. So I just want to go ahead and say I'm not a lawyer by any means, but I do have experience when it comes to the court processes in my own personal experience. It is unfortunate enough as it is that the family courts try to make as much money off of unfortunate family situations as they can. And it is even more upsetting that most of the time parents can't come to a mutual agreement that is mostly or most beneficial to the children. I think it's easy to lose sight in your bitterness of the failed relationship. It's easy to lose sight of what's important sometimes in those moments. And I think a lot of people need to be reminded of that. No matter what the situation is, no matter what sacrifices you have to make, and no matter what is going on between you and said person, the decision that should be at the forefront of your mind is the decision that is best for the children. I don't feel like there's much debate for that, or at least there shouldn't be. It shouldn't be a topic of discussion or debate to put your children first in your decisions. That doesn't make sense to me. When it came to fighting for custody for my child, it was a decision that I believed to be best for him. And ultimately, it was. And I do not regret it. My son is thriving now. He's away from it. And he's growing up to be a fine young man. But it could have gone a completely different way. Family court for most states and most situations are rigged against men. And we see it all the time in dad groups. Dads talking to each other, um, discussing what the judges are saying, what the courts are saying, uh, how immediately they put them on child support, even though they're off half the month and they have the kids half the month, but they're still paying X amount of child support. Or worse, they only get every other weekend, even though they're off 10, 15 days a month. Or say they work a rotating shift, so they only work 14 days a month. But because of the court, they only see their kids every other weekend and maybe an extra day or so. It's sad. And there are some states that do it better than others. Um, and I would say a lot of the states in the South definitely aren't the ones that do it very well. In my situation, the first step to any custody or anything like that, if you're not married, you have to get legitimized. And the reason being is there were people that were being put on birth certificates that were either not the father or they were on the birth certificates, but they were deadbeats. And there's numerous other reasons for legitimization, but it's a chance to get paternity tests done through the court, and it's basically the start of the legal process to get custody or start a custody agreement. Because in the state of Georgia, you can be on the birth certificate and you can still have no rights to that child unless you are married. And if you are married and you have those children and they are born in wedlock, then you have rights to the child and you don't have to be legitimized. But the first step is getting legitimized. And if the mother has no contest to your legitimization, which is to say, if she knows for a fact you're the father, one, she won't argue. Or if she wants to be petty and try to keep the rights from you completely, even though you're fighting for them, she can also fight the legitimization. But for the most part, he gets dismissed with a paternity test. Um, it's key to note that family court and child support court, for a majority of states, are two separate entities. And you can be put on child support a lot of the times. I don't believe in the state of Georgia, but no, you can in the state of Georgia, as far as I know. But a lot of states, men get put on child support and they don't even know. Uh, some of them don't even know they have a kid. They just start seeing their paychecks get garnished, and then they have to do a deep dive. And there's even more cases of men getting garnishment of their wages for child support for a child they don't know about or have never met, and didn't know about, but the mom filed for child support and had his information still. And this isn't one way. There are situations for where men file for child support. The only difference is you can't really contest who the mom is. Know what I'm saying? It's a much different process. Uh, when it comes to fighting for custody, the best thing for you to do is listen to what your lawyer is telling you. They know what they're doing. You're paying them for a reason. And most times, they're going to tell you to follow the court orders, keep your mouth shut, don't get into it with them, don't fight with them, only discuss things to do with the kids, and go through the supervisor if you have a court appointed supervisor. Or if you could find a middle person that is willing to be the middle person to keep it just about the kids, that also works very well too. But don't don't go on Facebook slandering them. Don't go on the internet talking bad about them. Don't get into fights on the internet, commenting back and forth like, you're a B and all this other stuff. Just don't do it because it won't look good in court. And it's not how you want to conduct yourself. When you go to these court appearances, a lot of the times you're having to convince them as a man that you're capable of being a dad. Where a lot of times that question isn't asked of the mom, which it is true in a lot of cases. When a woman has a baby, their maternal instincts kick on. Not all the time. God, not all the time. But that is a case, and it is a much bigger learning curve for a lot of men. And some dads are super dads. They never have to do that. Awesome. I wish. But when you present yourself to that judge, you are trying to present the best version of yourself. So that means Get a haircut, trim your beard if you have a beard, shave if you don't have a nice beard. Uh, have your clothes pressed. I'm not talking about just ironed. If that is all you have, iron your clothes, have them looking good. Dry cleaners are really cheap though, and you can get them nice and crisp and fresh for very cheap. And go in there looking your best. When you present yourself, you want to be respectful. If the judge talks to you at all, a lot of these times, the judge looks at you, looks at the mom, and the lawyers do all the mitigating. Um, and my custody battle, I don't think I talked to the judge more than maybe two sentences or four in total. It was all done through mitigation through the lawyers. And a lot of times that will be the case. Um, but unless you are, pause on that one, you want to be presentable, you want to look like a respectable person. If you have gauges like I do, wear a calm down gauge. You know, y'all see me with my pentagram gauges, and you know I have my nose ring and everything like that. But I would not wear my pentagram gauges to go see a judge in the Bible Belt South. Just wear neutral stuff, stuff that looks a little bit more natural, not so standoutish. Present yourself as a respectable young man or old man if you're old. Talk with your manners, talk with respect, keep a level head. Don't have any outbursts whatsoever. Do not have any outbursts. You will hurt your case every step of the way if you are having outbursts and being disrespectful and everything like that. If the person you're fighting for custody with is being outspoken, blurting things out, everything like that, let the court handle that. Let the judge handle that. Keep your calm demeanor and be respectful. It speaks more volumes about you through an entire situation if you can keep a calm, level head, keep it respectful, focus on the kids, and then when you're in court, be mature, professional, and respectful. It is a much better image, I promise. Also, learn how to tie a tie. People that wear suits and ties and dress down or dress for success know their ties. It is one thing to have a bow tie on, but if you actually wear ties, then you'll know no half Windsors. Do a full Windsor. There's even more complicated than that. But a nicely tied full Windsor tie looks respectable and it looks clean and well done and even. It's an even triangle. It's not the half Windsor where it's like you wrap the tie once and then just pull it through. Put that extra effort in. Look up how to tie a full Windsor tie. I will do a video on it if someone needs help doing that. I will do all of those videos. The only video I will never do for you guys is shaving. It's the only one I won't do. I'll recruit somebody to do that, or I'll send you a video. But in any situation, when it comes to having to fight for custody, odds are things went south. Or in some cases, just right off the rip, they lawyered up and shots just started getting thrown at you. It's unfortunate, but a lot of times it's how it works. And a lot of men are caught off guard by those things. You don't sit there and always constantly worry about it, but if you're in a legitimization state, get Anyway, sorry about that. Unfortunately, that is the case a lot of times. A lot of a lot of situations go south really fast. Relationships fail. Love, unfortunately, love isn't enough. And people lose sight of the important things, especially when they're angry, bitter, and resentful. Even in those moments, once y'all split, your only thought should be about the kids. You're going to figure out where you're going to stay if whatever the living situations are going to be. You're going to figure out the initial schedule. Unfortunately, a lot of times you won't get to see the kids because it's out of your hands, or if it's that bad, they're not going to let you see those kids until you go to court. Keep a mind on your tongue. Don't lash out swearing and cussing and doing all those things. Keep a level head. Keep it about the children. Don't start worrying about what they're doing. Conduct yourself in a respectful manner. Because I promise they're going to have screenshots. You are going to have screenshots. Custody court gets nasty, really nasty. And it can get nasty quick. So conduct yourself in a respectful way. Another thing I would say, and this is definitely not in all states now because the world is changing, but if you are in a state where weed is not legal, don't be smoking weed if you're fighting for custody for your kids. Don't do drugs at all. But especially if you're fighting for custody of your kids, don't do drugs. Because the judge can look at you and the mom and say, I want a hair follicle test of you both right now. It happened to me. Don't do it. That blunt or whatever you want to smoke and everything like that is not worth the custody of your child. It's already hard enough as a dad to win a victory in court as it is. Don't put yourself at a huge disadvantage for a temporary relief of your stress and your problems. The problems are still going to be there. The stress is still going to be there. And it's not worth it. If that blunt is so important or those drugs are so important that you would still do them up to the point of having to fight for custody of your kids, you probably, I don't want to be an ass, but you don't need to be fighting for custody of your kid. If drugs are more important to you than having your children, that says everything that needs to be said. I don't say it to be an asshole. I just say it because it's the truth. Your kids are everything. I don't have. I'm not going to debate that. This is a really hard topic to talk about, and keep keep it calm and keep it chill. There's so many different custody battles. There's so many different stories from moms and dads, and so many different terrible situations that I'm saying all of these things to you guys, but a lot of it won't apply to everyone. A lot of it will only apply to some or a select few. Um, I hate that dads have to fight just to be dads. I don't believe it's right. And I believe that there are plenty of moms that should fight for their right to be moms or just shouldn't have the right to be moms. Same thing goes for dads, though. I understand not every parent's perfect, but There are a lot of parents that just don't try, and your kids deserve better. And if you're upset by that, I guess reflect on what you're doing. Anyway, I'm gonna do numerous episodes on this because there's so much to get into when it comes to these things, and there are other personal stories that you guys are sending me. that y'all want me to discuss, and I want to make sure that I give them the justice they deserve, um, and learn them properly before I sit here and talk to everybody about them. But there's another thing that you have to be prepared for when it comes to splitting up with your child's mother or father. And that is they're going to move on eventually. And it is not your place to tell them that they can't. You are not together anymore. It is not their place to tell you that you can't. The main thing and only thing you should be worried about, and I feel like I shouldn't have to say this as much as I do, is the kids. I don't believe that their new boyfriend or girlfriend should be around the kids soon after they get together. I think there should be a long period of time of someone dating before they have the even opportunity to meet your children. And I also believe that if it is a respectful co-parenting environment, that conversation should be had. Because when you're co-parenting, again, it's about teamwork and raising those kids to be healthy and happy. It is not about the failed relationship. It is not about the resentment you might still hold. It's not about the hurt feelings. It's not about any of that anymore. It is about those children. It's easy to be resentful. It's easy to hold on to that anger. But just like I talked about in the previous episodes, you got to let go of it. Go to therapy, do whatever you have to do. But you need to make sure that you are bettering yourself and getting through it in a healthy way. Don't sit there and pick up the bottle and drink it away or smoke it away or do whatever. Don't do any of those things. It looks like a traffic jam up here. Time to get off the exit. Okay. But don't do any of those things. The thing that you need to be focused on is how you are going to change your life now to be in a situation to properly take care of and raise those children. If it is a healthy co parenting environment, how y'all are going to raise those children to be happy and healthy while in separate households. Because it's going to get confusing. There's going to be times where you're aggravated switching households and school and everything like that. It's going to be a lot. The kids come first. You're going to make sacrifices, as you should. You're their parent. That goes for moms and dads. Sorry, I'm navigating here. Anyway, it was really awesome that I had posted in a dad group probably a year ago. Uh, Dads Helping Dads Worldwide, I believe it was. Uh, and I had posted in there talking about how I was thinking about starting up a podcast. And I got a couple people messaging me back then and offering support and stuff like that back then. And I never did it. And then I posted in there this week, saying, "Hey guys, I'm starting, or I have started this podcast, and I want it to be a place, the Facebook group and everything. I want it to be a place where dads can come together and support each other and work through the challenges that comes with being a dad." And I talked about how I was looking for topics and, you know, stories and things to discuss and things like that. And I got a overwhelming amount of support. Uh, so many comments with great suggestions, great ideas, and I I I screenshotted them all. I have them all. Um, and I will be discussing them. And to those of you that messaged me your stories, thank you. And one of those individuals I am very proud of. People forget how hard it can be when it comes to being in abusive relationships. So many times men are told that, oh, you're a man, you're not being abused, or she's a girl, she doesn't even hit that hard, or all these different things where men are ridiculed for speaking out about the abuse that they're dealing with. And most of the time it's just or physical abuse, but there's mental abuse, sexual abuse, in some cases financial abuse. And I want to just tell you guys that it is going to be okay if you speak out. It's also going to be okay if you decide not to. That is your personal story and your personal experience. But don't bottle it up and don't let it eat you away. Handle it properly and don't let it bleed into the rest of your life. If you are stuck in a cycle of abuse and you need a reason to leave, let this be your reason. Get out. Get out. You've dealt with enough. You've handled enough. It's time for you to leave and heal and be happy. I hate how often victims of domestic violence are afraid to speak out because they're scared of how other people are going to react to their abuse, which is stupid. Not that they feel that way, but that people feel entitled to feel some type of way about it, like it was their situation and they're mad at you for speaking out about it. That never made any sense to me. That goes for guys and girls. I'm speaking in general right now, not just dads. It's a sad time to live when you're scared to speak out about someone doing a horrible thing to you because of what other people might do because of it. But if you need a reason to leave, I hope this is your reason. It's not much of a reason. I'm just a guy talking to my phone, but there are resources out there. There are people you can call. There are ways to get out. And I hope you take that chance. I hope you get out and I hope you heal and that you are happy. That being said, this episode's kind of choppy because I kept getting phone calls. It was getting kind of confusing, trying to remember where I was before the phone call because I'm like a dog with a squirrel from what's that movie? Up. I'm Doug with the squirrel with my ADHD, and as soon as I get a phone call, it's out the window of what I was talking about. So I keep trying to have to like pick up on it, and I feel like I had better things to like go through and say with all this, but I got thrown off my groove and I'm still new to this. So it's kind of hard to pick it back up and keep going, especially with such a heavy conversation. It's not so like up. I don't know if the podcast sounds upbeat or I sound upbeat, but it doesn't feel as up to beat or as upbeat when I'm talking about it because it's so heavy. Excuse me. But I will be talking about a lot of those things. When it comes to custody and how to conduct yourself and how to conduct yourself during a breakup and things like that. I am more than happy to talk about my personal opinion of those things, but again, I'm not a lawyer, and you should definitely consult with a good family lawyer. Um, Make sure you research that lawyer, look into them. Don't just Google family attorney and pick the first one you see. Don't do that. Make sure you do your research and make sure you're prepared on your end too. And get ready to spend some money because it costs tens of thousands of dollars to win custody of your child. In some cases, tens of thousands of dollars just to not, unfortunately. It's worth every penny. One day that kid's going to ask, hey, why didn't you fight harder for me? And you're going to be able to sit there and look at them and say, I fought for you every step of the way because you should never give up. Should never give up. That being said, I'm going to sign off of here. I know this is a jump around episode. Um, I'm going to do better. I promise. Put my phone on Do Not Disturb. But it was family calling, so I answered. Um, but I'm going to go through y'all stories. I'm going to read them. And I'm going to make sure that I tell y'all stories and talk about y'all situations the way they deserve to be talked about and respectful and do them justice because some of the stories y'all sent me are powerful stories and you are powerful people. That goes for the men that sent me their stories and some of the women too. Y'all are brave, y'all are strong, and y'all are doing y'all's best. And keep it up. And keep your head up. As always, keep showing up for your kids. Keep your heads up. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Uh, Damn it. Is it still going? Still going. I'm never going to get that right.